Hey everyone, welcome back. So you ready to really get a handle on speaking English, huh? We got a trip coming up, got to give a big presentation at work. Or hey, maybe you just want to feel that awesome kind of power that comes with being fluent.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, get comfy, folks, because in this deep dive, we're going to be extracting some serious gold from the script we got, all about finding your inner English speaker. We're going way past the English 101 stuff, we're diving
Yeah.
into the techniques and the insights, the kind of stuff that flips the switch in your brain and makes you actually feel confident speaking.
And I gotta say, this script does a really cool thing right off the bat. It zeroes in on the WHY. Like, why even bother learning to speak English well?
It sounds obvious, but
hmm
they make some pretty compelling points.
Yeah,
I mean, it goes way beyond the usual, it'll help your career kind of stuff. It's more like they're saying, look, this isn't just about getting ahead or whatever. This is about connecting with the whole world on a much deeper level. Like they even bring up education, travel, just this simple act of having a conversation with someone from a totally different background.
and when you really think about it, English is kind of like the internet of languages these days, right?
Yeah.
It lets people from all different places, all different walks of life, share their ideas, work together, build relationships. It's a seriously powerful tool to create understanding, especially in a world that feels more and more divided sometimes.
Okay, but real talk, fear can be a total brick wall even when you've got all that motivation.
For sure.
I remember when I was learning Spanish, I was so scared of messing up that I basically didn't say a word for like 6 months. It's funny because the script talks about that too, that whole thing of feeling like you'll sound dumb or
Yeah.
make a million mistakes.
Totally. But the cool thing is how the script turns those mistakes into something positive. There's that classic quote, the expert at anything was once a beginner. It's like they're giving you permission to trip up a little, to try things out, to embrace the whole messy learning process.
I love that. Okay, so how about we ditch the fear factor and jump right into the practical stuff? The script lays out 6 main tips. Honestly, some of them really surprised me. Ready to unpack
Oh,
these?
absolutely. Let's go.
All right, first up is expanding your vocabulary, which on the surface sounds pretty basic, right? Learn more words, speak better, boom, done. But it feels like there's got to be a smarter way than just memorizing endless lists of words.
You're right on the money. The secret sauce here is relevance. Like, imagine you're someone who's super into food and you're learning English. Wouldn't it be way more fun to learn words like, say, braising or deglazing instead of just random words from a dictionary? Or if you're a music nut, why not learn all about different genres and instruments, the whole musical lingo? The idea is to make learning fun, to tailor it to what gets you fired up.
So it's kind of like you're curating your vocabulary instead of just passively soaking it all up, right?
Exactly.
I like that a lot. Okay, next is daily practice. Now, I have a feeling some folks listening might be groaning a bit at that one, but the script really hammers this point home. What makes it so crucial?
Okay, think of it like this. Could you picture yourself running a marathon without training every single day?
No way.
Exactly. Speaking a language, it's a skill, just like running or playing an instrument. And like any skill, it needs constant practice. Now, that doesn't mean you got to be spending hours and hours every day. Even short, focused bursts of practice can make a huge difference. The script even mentions talking to yourself in the mirror or recording yourself and listening back, just to get used to hearing your own voice.
Yeah, I've heard of people talking to the mirror, but I always thought it was kind of dot weird.
It might feel a little strange at first, but trust me, it works. It forces you to really get those sounds out, to think on the spot. And here's another super effective technique. Every day, pick a random topic, could be anything. Your favorite movie, what's going on in the news, and just talk about it out loud for a few minutes. This really helps you build that smooth, natural flow.
Oh, that's actually a really cool idea. Okay, so what about listening and imitation? This one seems kind of obvious, but I'm curious, how can we really get the most out of it?
Yeah, it's not just about passively listening. It's about actively soaking up all the little things, the pronunciation, the tone, the rhythm. Ever heard of shadowing? That's where you listen to a short audio clip and then repeat it right away, trying to sound exactly like the speaker.
Shadowing. That's a new one for me.
It's super effective. It's like training your ears and your mouth to work together? Like, think
Yeah.
about it. That's exactly how we all learned our first language as kids, by imitating what we heard. And these days, with podcasts and YouTube, you've got an endless supply of native speakers at your fingertips. Pick something you enjoy, whether it's a cool interview or a funny stand-up routine, and start shadowing. You'll be surprised how quickly you pick up those little nuances that make spoken English sound so natural.
Makes total sense. Okay, next we've got a concept that's always fascinated me, this whole idea of thinking in English. The script presents it as a total game changer, but I've always had a hard time figuring out how to actually DO it.
Right, it's definitely a mental shift, that's for sure. When we're constantly translating in our heads, it creates this lag, like a disconnect between our thoughts and what we're actually saying. The key is to start small. Like, instead of translating every single word in your head, try narrating your day in English or describing the things you see around you. As you get more comfortable, try to think in English for longer and longer stretches. It's like building a mental muscle.
So it's like you're retraining your brain to just automatically default to English, right?
Exactly.
Whoa, mind blown. Okay, just two more tips left. Number 5 is engaging in conversations, which seems pretty obvious, but I'm guessing there's more to it than just chatting with people.
Right. Oh, absolutely. It's all about actively participating, really jumping into those conversations. Find a language partner, join a conversation group, even just strike up conversations with English speakers you meet in your daily life. You mentioned travel earlier. Imagine yourself navigating a busy market in Morocco, ordering food from a street vendor in Thailand, having a chat with locals at a cafe in Paris.
Mhm.
Those real-world interactions, that's where the real magic
It's
happens.
all about pushing past that comfort zone.
Yes. And last but not least, we have using online resources. This one can be a little tricky because there are so many options out there. Apps, websites, courses. Where do you even begin?
Right, it's totally overwhelming.
Definitely. So first things first, figure out what your goals are. Are you looking for structured lessons? Apps like Duolingo or Babbel might be perfect for you. More into learning through news and cultural stuff. Check out the BBC Learning English website or the VOA Learning English channel. Lots of resources offer free trials too, so you can try things out and see what clicks.
That's super useful. Okay, before we wrap things up, the script touches on pronunciation, but it kind of cuts off before getting into the details. What are some key things listeners should know about this?
Pronunciation is so important. And it's not about getting rid of your accent entirely, it's about making sure you're clear and easy to understand. For example, a lot of learners have trouble with certain vowel sounds or with sounds like L and R. It just depends on their native language. But the good news is there are tons of resources to help pronunciation guides, online tutorials, even apps that can give you feedback on how you're speaking.
So it's all about finding the tools and techniques that work best for you.
Exactly. And remember, everyone's journey is different. What works for one person might not work for another. It's all about experimenting and finding what feels right for you.
This has been such a great deep dive. We started with the big why and went all the way down to the nitty-gritty details. It's clear that if you want to become a confident English speaker, you got to practice consistently, stay positive, and be willing to try new things.
Totally. And as we wrap up, think about this. What's one specific action you can take right now to move forward on your English speaking journey? Maybe it's downloading that language app you've been thinking about, or reaching out to someone to practice with, or even just setting aside 15 minutes every day for focused practice. Whatever it is, take that first step and watch your confidence grow.
Thanks for listening, everyone, and until next time, keep practicing and stay curious.
See you next time.